Stop blaming women. Man, I had to, come to this conclusion and put this message out for you guys, because a lot of you guys are blaming women for pretty much what you're going through, with every single woman that you are dealing with. And what it's doing is stopping your growth. You remaining stagnant and traumatized, and you letting these women live rent free in your psyche for your whole life, and it's not good, man. So guys, stop blaming women. What I want you guys to do is I want you guys to every woman that you deal with, you got to really think about, just you chose to deal with them. What you put your energy and your focus towards, you're going to get a result out of it, whether it's a good result or a bad result. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's your fault because you chose to do that. Now, unfortunately, a lot of you guys, man, like on my channel, I just teach about women that's manipulative, women that's Jezebel, succubus, all this. And I teach you guys about narcissistic women, the signs of narcissistic women. I teach you guys about learning your worth and what not to deal with and what to deal with, right? Now, what a lot of you guys is going wrong, the reason why a lot of you guys are blaming women is because you're not being honest with women. You're not really being honest with women. You're not. This is the problem, guys. When you dealing with a woman, when you first meet a woman through text or through call or FaceTime, set the standard, okay? You set the standard. You tell her, look, I want it to be 50-50, okay? A lot of you guys, y'all are afraid to do this because you're scared you're going to run the woman off. But guess what? If you run that woman off, that means what? That means that she's not for you. That's not the woman that you're supposed to be dealing with, because she just really wants you to supply her narcissism. So guys, man, stop blaming women. A lot of you guys, unfortunately, you're not setting the standard with women. This is the main problem. This is why a lot of you guys be going through what you're going through. The heartbreaks that I've been through with women and stuff like that, I put myself through that. I broke my own heart because I was not honest with them. You know what I'm saying? I was not setting the standard. I wasn't really being a leader. I'm just going to be honest. You got to be a leader when you're dealing with a woman. You cannot be a backseater. She's not, a woman can't read your mind, and you're not supposed to be trying to read a woman's mind, right? But guys, man, you guys need to be more honest with women. This is why a lot of you guys get played on dates. You know what I'm saying? And you play yourself. A woman doesn't play you. Nah, you play yourself because you chose to deal with that woman. You chose to take her out on 3 days, and you think that, if you go by this rule, then you'll be able to have sex with her. Unfortunately, that's not true. That's not 100% true, right? I had to fly. But that's not 100% true, right? So guys, man. And then you wonder why when you call her over, you text her after the 3rd day and say, come over, then she making excuses or she ghosts you. Then you get mad and all bent up out of shape and start blaming women. It was her problem, man. She played me, man. I was being genuine, man. But bro, no. You're supposed to set the standard. Because if you're doing all the investing and she's doing nothing, she gonna view you as a sucker, as a guy that she can use, as a guy that's supplying her narcissism, as a sugar daddy, as a trick, right? Guys, stop blaming women. I'm tired of guys just blaming women for what they put themselves through. You're not gonna grow if you blame women for what you're putting yourself through. Unfortunately, this is what we taught. Women are taught to blame men. Men is taught to blame women. But we're taught wrong. We're just taught wrong. You're being a narcissist, unfortunately, because if you're blaming women for what you put yourself through, what you chose to invest in, and you ain't got no return on it, or you feel like you got played, then you played yourself because you chose to put your energy towards that. So guys, man, stop blaming women. What you need to do is you need to grow. You need to grow. You need to learn from these experiences that you're going through. This is why a lot of you guys blame women, because you're not setting the standard when you deal with these women. You got to set the standard up front, bro. You got to tell her the truth. And what I mean by telling her the truth, you can tell a woman the truth in an indirect way. Well, she'll still get it, right? So, for an example, I know a lot of you guys thinking about sex, right? Oh, so I should just tell a woman I just want to smash, right? No. What you say is, I just want to have a good time. I'm not looking for a relationship right now. I just want to have a good time and not a long time. And she'll get it. Either she's going to take it or leave it, right? She knows what you're talking about. A woman knows what you're talking about. If you say that you're not looking for a relationship and you just want to have a good time and not a long time, they know that, all right? They get it, right? But you got to set the standards. You got to let her know up front what it is. A lot of you guys, unfortunately, you're not letting women know what up front what it is. And you playing yourself. You know, spending thousands of dollars on dates a year or hundreds of dollars on dates a year, and you're getting played by multiple women, is because you're not setting the standard, bro. You know, you're not setting the standard. You know, women not playing you on dates. You playing yourself because you're not telling her to invest back into you. You're not telling her to invest back into you. A lot of you guys, when it comes out and taking these women on dates, it's like you're putting dollars in an empty vending machine. When you don't set the standard, bro, with a woman and tell her that, oh, if I spend money on you, you gotta spend money on me, and you just keep spending money on her, it's like, and you're not getting no return on your investment, bro, it's like you're just putting dollars in an empty vending machine. You're not gonna get nothing out of it. So it's pointless, bro. Guys, you gotta make this as a normality in your head. You gotta make this as a very, very important thing in your psyche to set the standard when you're dealing with these women. You will not get played, I promise you. If you tell a woman what it is up front, either she's going to accept you for who you are and still deal with you because she's on the same thing that you are on, she's on the same vibration that you're on, and she want to do what you want to do, or she's not. Guys, you got to stop blaming women. You know what I'm saying? This is why a lot of you guys are, blaming women for heartbreaks and stuff like this. No, the woman didn't break your heart. You broke your own heart. And you broke your own heart because you chose to deal with that woman. See, you don't grow when you blame people for your mistakes. You don't grow at all. You remain stagnant. And they end up, this is why a lot of you guys, your ex is living in your head rent free, and it's bothering you what you went through with your ex. Because a lot of times you didn't know your worth, you had low self-esteem, and you just was probably lacking a lot of knowledge then. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about this, man. And a lot of guys be saying, oh, bro, she manipulated me, bro, and stuff like this. Bro, a woman can't manipulate you unless you allow her to. You got to give her, that consent. You have to give her that, that consent, man, to do that. Now, if you don't know nothing about female manipulation, which you can look up on YouTube or go to my channel, you can learn about female manipulation. So you'll know the different signs, of manipulation, so you won't get manipulated. Then you'll know. But like, if you don't know about manipulation, then I understand. But if you subscribe to my channel, you can go look at some videos where I talk about female manipulation. But if you don't know, then that's something different. But if you know and you still allowing women to like do this and do that and how they were with you, and you supplying these women narcissism, it is your fault. It is not the women's fault. It is not women's fault. See, this was wrong with a lot of you guys. You're not being a leader. You're not being a leader. And how you're not being a leader, you're not setting the standard. That's what it's about. You will not get played, trust me. You will not get played by a woman if you set the standard. You will get a return on your investment if you set the standard and you know your worth. If you buy her something, tell her to buy you something. You buy her a meal, you tell her to buy you a meal. You buy her a small fry, you tell her to buy you a small fry. It gotta be equivalent to the equilibrium. It gotta be some equality there, right? Guys, man, stop blaming women. I'm trying to tell you, you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna grow, bro. You're gonna be living in depression. You keep blaming women, and I'm telling you why you're blaming women. A lot of you guys don't even know why you're blaming women. Well, but you really, it's something deeper up underneath the surface of why you're blaming women. And that's the fact is that you lacking knowledge. And what you're lacking is you're not being straightforward with females. You got to be more straightforward with females, bro. Like, if you're looking for a relationship, you tell her that you're looking for something serious. Or if you're looking for something casual, you tell her that you're looking for something casual. Or you just want to have a good time, you want to have a good time and not a long time, you tell them that. They gonna know what's up. Either they gonna take it or leave it, bro. But you got to stop blaming women, bro. A lot of you guys, this is why a lot of you guys are blaming women. Because you're not setting the standard. That's the problem, bro. You're not being honest up front. What you're doing is you're going with the flow, or she's look really, really good, gorgeous and all that. So you feel like she's better than you. So you start investing all this money into her. And you're not going to allow her to invest into you right away because you feel like she's not going to do it. But you playing yourself then. You playing yourself. I don't care how good a woman look or anything. If I invest to her, she got to invest to me. That's how things work, bro. Or if I'm on, you know, I want to have a good time in our long time, she got to want to have a good time in our long time. She got to be the same way. So, guys, this is the problem, bro. The problem is you're not setting the standard. The problem is you're not being a leader. You got to be a leader. You got to tell these women what's up. Tell them what's up. You know what I'm saying? So you won't be out here, you know, going through what you're going through. You know, you're going through what you're going through because you're putting yourself through it. You getting played because you're playing yourself. You getting played because you're not being honest. You know, you're trying to manipulate your way with money and all this stuff. And I know as guys, we're taught to be tricks and all this stuff. But guys, if you watch videos on my channel, I can get you out of that mindset. You know, about female nature and stuff like that. I can get you out of that mindset, bro. You won't have to be a trick and all this stuff. You know, you can deal with women that you don't have to spend money on, guys. You know, you want a woman that's on the same thing that you want. If you want to have sex, then you got to let a woman know that you want to have a good time in that long time. Text her that. You got to text her that, bro. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, a lot of you guys, you're going through what you're going through because of you. A lot of these dating coaches and a lot of these guys out here that's teaching female nature and stuff, they're not telling you this, bro. You're going through what you're going through with women because of you. You have to set the standard. You know, and it is some women out here that want to smash just like you just want to smash. They just want to have a good time. It is some women out here that's like that. But how you gonna know? You gotta let her know, like, I just want to have a good time. You know, I'm not looking for a relationship. You gotta let her know that. And you know, if that's what you're looking for, then all right. So for you guys, that's just like you're looking for women that's you know, that's just want to smash. Just message a whole bunch of women and then tell them eventually, like, tell all women, tell them all the same thing, kind of like, I just want to have a good time in our long time. And the ones that say, oh, I'm on that too, or whatever, those are the ones that's for you. If that's what you want. I'm just giving you a little secret, you know, about, you know, dating and, you know, all this type, dating apps and all this type of stuff. If that's what you want, then get that's how you find women that's on the same thing that you on. Text a whole bunch of women and text them all, I just want to have a good time, not a long time or whatever, and see who replies back. I bet you one woman gonna be on the same thing that you on, and there you go. But anyway, man, stop blaming women. That's my main message. That's my main message with you guys, man. You can't do that. And a lot of women blame men because this is what we are taught, you know, by society. But we got to make it as a normality to be upfront and set the standard. You know, don't, because a woman, she's not going to know your intentions unless you, like, you know, try to lead her on, like, telling her, like, you know, what you want. You know, if you look for a relationship, just say you look for something serious. If you're not, just say what I just said, man. You just want to have a good time, not a long time. You're not looking for a relationship. Just be flat out. Just be flat out. She'll know what you want. She'll know what that means. That you want to get down. You know, all you want to do is just pull out that slab and give slab work. You know, you want to have multiple women. You dealing with multiple women. That's what you're saying, basically. And you just want to smash. So, guys, man, this is why you are blaming women. Because the root of the problem is you're not setting the standard. You know, unfortunately, a lot of guys, they're not going to tell you this. A lot of dating coaches and stuff like that, they're not going to tell you why you're blaming women. But like I said, I'm going to tell you because I care about you. I want you to heal. I want you to move forward. You know, this is the problem. This is why a lot of guys cannot move forward. This is why a lot of guys are stuck. This is why a lot of guys are afraid to get back out and, you know, deal with females. You know, this is why a lot of guys are, you know, becoming homebodies and stuff like this because you don't know what the problem is. The problem is, bro, you're not setting the standard. You're not telling them up front what's going on, what you're about, you know, what you looking for. You know, you got to tell them, man. And like I said, man, I'm giving you guys the game. I'm giving you guys the advice. You know what I'm saying? So you guys can, you know, apply this to your life. Well, if you look for a relationship or not, naming women. You know, a lot of you guys, man, what happens is, bro, what a lot of you guys mess up at, you know, you get a woman that look really good, right? You get a woman that look really good. And then you get really excited and start to care about her too much. And you just start splurging. not knowing your worth, start spending money on her, a whole bunch of money on her, and you're not setting the standard. So, and the only thing you get back is sex. But she's getting way more out of you than you getting out of her. It's not even, you know, equal to what she's getting compared to what you are getting, guys. And that's the problem, man. A lot of you guys are too desperate. A lot of you guys be just too thirsty for women, bro. You gotta be logical, man. You know, don't let any woman make you, you know, feel some type of way like, oh, she's better than you or you owe her, because in your mind, you know, that's a weak mindset. You know, you can only have that mindset, and that's a weak mindset, bro. Don't get too thirsty for a woman. Don't get too desperate, bro. But anyway, man, this is the problem. I just hope this video, you know, helped a lot of you guys out, man, because this is the main problem. This is the main problem with a lot of you guys, man. So guys, get back out there, bro. Do not blame women. See, a lot of you guys don't really know the real root of the problem of why you blaming women. You don't know what's up underneath the surface of what's the real problem why I'm blaming women. And guys, like I said, I'm giving you guys some tips in what is the real deep problem why you blame women, because you're not really setting the standard. You don't know your worth, man. So if you want, you know, if you want someone to invest into you, you got to invest into them. You got to make sure everything is 50-50 with these women. I don't care how good she look, man. So a lot of you guys, man, you get back out there, man, and start dealing with women, because men and women, we're supposed to interact with each other. I love being around women because women are very, very spiritual. You know, they can be very, very loving, kind, and caring. It's just you got to be dealing with the right women, and you got to make sure that you're setting the standard when you're dealing with these women, man. So guys, man, get back out there, man. Deal with women and make sure that you always setting the standard. It's Coleman.